All right, we got, we need to write, this is a 8-1. Okay, page 537. And we're going to do 17 through 27. Okay, 17 through 27. Starting with 17, we need to come up with the three similar triangles, right? So in essence, what I'm going to do is write the first one. Oh, it's written, RSU. So triangle RSU. And notice how I went from short leg to long leg, right? RS is the short leg, right? And SU is the long leg, right? Okay? We're just going to continue to do this. Is similar to, right? So let's look at the medium. That's the big one. So the medium one's like this. Oh, here's a different color. The medium is one is like this one, right? So we got to flip it so it looks like this. Well, we know T is right here, right? And then the short leg is S, and the long is U, right? So I'm just going to go S-T-U. Bam. Right? Okay. And then we're going to make the little one. Alright, and that's this guy. And again, this piece is T. And to the short one, it's R. Right? And so to the long one, it's S. And say no more. R-T-S. Boom, boom, boom. So if you lay these out, this is easy, right? This is easy. As long as you lay this out. Okay? It gets complicated when you don't lay it out. When you try to do it all in your head. This is not hard. Okay? It's hard when you try to do it in your head. Because you got to flip things around in your head. Keep the picture straight. Keep the letters straight. Keep the numbers straight. All that stuff. Right? That's why we draw pictures, people. So that it's nice and easy. Okay? Next, geometric mean. We're going to talk about what that is. All that is the square root of the product. The square root of the product. So what that means is I take this times this and find the square root of it. Okay? Alright, square root of the product. That means I'm doing 3 times 15, which is 45. Square root of 45. Now what I got to do is break that down. Remember, upside down division. Okay? 45. I'm going to take a 3 first because a 2 doesn't go into it. So 3 goes into it. How many times? Well, 15. Does a 3 go into that? Yeah, 5. Does a 5 go into that? Yeah, 1. Okay, now here's the key here. Okay? This is the key. Because this is a square root, there's a hidden 2 right there. Okay? If there was a cubed root, or if there was a 3 there, then you would be trading 3 for 1. If there's a 4 there, you'd be trading 4 for 1. But there is a hidden 2 right here. Always a 2. If there's nothing there, it's a 2. So we're going to trade 2 for 1. What that means is I trade 2 of these for 1 outside the box. Now, let me ask you a question. What is the square root of 9? What is the square root of 9? People, really? 3. Right? And that's all we're doing right here. This is 9, right? 3 times 3 is 9. And what's the square root of 9? 3. So we're just pulling out our square roots. Jacob, you had a question?
Nope.
Sure?
Yep.
Positive? You getting it? Nope. Then don't you have a question? Alright. So,
Oh, I got a question. Where did you get the square root of 9 from?
So, what's 3 times 3?
9.
What's square root of 9?
3.
Oh, okay.
Okay? What I'm doing is I'm trading any pairs for just one outside of the radical. And that's why I line them up. If I line them up like this, doesn't matter how big the problem is, I line them up and I just sit there and circle. Pair, 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 pair. Now, the problem comes when we have something like a cube, right? A cube or a fourth root or a fifth root, right? But that's not a big problem because all we're going to do is trade 4 for 1 for a fourth root, 5 for 1 for a fifth root, 3 for 1 for a cube root. Okay? So it's all just trading, right? When I go down to get my fireworks, what do? I trade my cash for their money, right? No, for their fireworks. But in the same aspect, sometimes you'll see me trade my fish or my pheasant for your elk or your deer, right? Because that's what I do. I fish and I kill pheasant and duck, but I don't kill deer and elk. So I'll find somebody who does, and I'll trade with them, right? Now, am I going to be able to trade a pheasant for an elk? It's going to be kind of crazy, right? That'd be awesome on my part. But on their part, they're like, I don't think so, right? So I'm going to have to trade 3 for just 1 pound, or you know what I'm saying? 1 leg, 1 hind quarter, whatever I'm going to trade for, right? I'm going to have to come up with 7 pheasant, or 8 duck, or 100 duck for an elk, or whatever, right? But I'm trading that amount. That's all we're doing. We're going to trade this amount. In this case, 2 of them. Now I know that this 2 is hidden. It's one of those. We call it a square root. What's square meaning? 2. Square root is 2. Now you're going to see these things later on where there's a 3 there, or where there's a 4 there, right? And then you'll be trading 4 for 1 or 3 for 1, right? But for right now, we're only worried about trading 2 for 1 because it's a square root. But on that test, on that S-back, you better believe they're going to have that cube root, right? You guys seen one. Those of you who are taking it, I'm sure you've seen the cube roots, right? Fourth roots, right? So they're going to have that on them. All right. So this one's the same thing. It's just the product. What is 1/4 times 80, right? Well, how many times does 4 go into 80? 4 goes into 8 2 times, right? So 20. Say no more. So we got the square root of 20. So I take 20 over here and I break it down. 2 goes into 20 how many times?
10.
10. 2.
5.
5. Then Jacob, tell me how many pairs do I have there? Just the 2s, right? So I'm just going to circle this. Now, what goes here? A 2. Just 1 or 2 of them? Yeah, it doesn't seem hard, right? But I find that a lot of students will write the 2 there or write 2 of them there. Okay, so be careful. It's just 1 for every circle. 1 for every circle. Keep it simple. Anything not circled goes right there. Done. That is square roots. That's breaking down radicals. This is some of the hardest stuff for students to do. It's not hard.
Isn't it there's 2 that's not circled, isn't it like, say like, that's like a 3. And
If it was a 5 and a 3, yeah, we just multiply them.
Yeah.
Like get 15. Yep. Whatever's not circled stays in the box, and then you multiply them to get the number. Whatever's circled, right? If you have a 2 and another 2 and another 2 and another 2, you're going to end up multiplying all of those. Okay? All right, let's take a look at this one. This one's a little harder. Okay? Does 2 go into 40? So this is basically just times, right? So does 2 go into 40? How many times? 20, right? Does 3 go into 27?
What is that symbol?
Huh?
Between 3 and 15? On 19? What's that symbol?
And? That's just an and symbol. So 3 goes into 27 how many times? 9. Okay, so I got the square root of 9 over 20. Well, we already did the square root of 20, didn't we? Right? So we know, what's the square root of 9? We did that too, right? 3. So we know that this is 3 over 2 square roots of 5. But the problem is there's a square root in the bottom. Right? So we got to get rid of that. And the only way to get rid of that is square root of 5 over the square root of 5. Whatever that square root is. Because what is the square root of 5 times the square root of 5? The square root of 25, right? And what's the square root of 25? 5. That's all you're doing. Okay? All you're doing is multiplying these guys so you get 2 times 5, right? And you get 3 square roots of 5. And that equals 3 square roots of 5 over 10. Okay? And that's what you're doing. That's it. Okay? And that's geometric mean in radicals.